Good evening, this is Hemant here with the first of our RCMI Culinary Institute videos. Here with our executive chef, Suhail Saeed.
Hi there.
Chef, we are excited finding out that you are going to be preparing some of our exotic Indian cuisines. Please tell us what you have prepared for us.
So what we have got, if Indian cuisines, it comes, it's a big continent in itself if you're looking at the different provinces and different kind of food that is there. So I picked a variety from each and every part of India, and we start from the first one is going to go in from Kashmir, which is on the topmost part of India, going all the way to the southern part of India, which is Hyderabad, and which is more like where they use the coconut and stuff like that. So it's going to be a little bit of everything tonight.
Okay. Now, do these certain regions range in spicing in terms of temperature and so on?
Yeah, exactly. If you go to the northern province or the topmost part of India where the Kashmir is, there you will see most of the stuff that is being prepared with saffron, with yogurt and stuff like that. They would never use coconut, but if you go to the southern part of India, you will see that lot of recipes they have coconut in that. And if you go to the coastal region, it differs in cuisine compared to if you go to the central part of India. So yeah, it's lots going on there.
Okay, well, I'm certainly excited. I see you have an array of spices here. Could you just briefly tell me what we have here?
Okay, what we have here is we have got ghee over here, which is a clarified butter. We have got yogurt, which is very common in Indian cuisine. It's also called dahi in local language. Then we have got some cumin powder, coriander powder, which is the backbone of Indian cooking. And then we have got some smoked paprika and Kashmiri red chili powder. So
wow.
We've got a lot of spices out there.
Yeah, my taste buds are watery right now.
Hi there, good evening everyone, and we are into our second phase of the cooking classes. First one was the meats and marinades, and as Michael said, it was very successful. A lot of feedback after the class as well, and so that's what encouraged us to do the next one, and this is Indian cooking, which is more or less my forte. Okay. The format of the class is going to be, as we did last time as well, it's going to be 1.5 hours of demonstration. So we're going to show you exactly how to do all those dishes that you have on the recipe binder. Once we have done that, we're going to serve you the same food on your table. So how was the appetizers? Excellent. Good. So one of the recipe that we're going to do in the class, we already tasted out. That was the fish Amritsari. That's what we're going to do. And that's going to be our first recipe. That's what we're going to do tonight. And what I'm trying to do over here is, like, if you see the whole of India, it is a continent in itself. Okay, there are different provinces, and each and every province has got its own style of cooking. Okay, if you see a certain dish being prepared in South India, and you are great in doing that, and you are a chef, and then you go to another part of India and try to sell that food, then you are looking for some new profession. Because people, what they eat in South, they don't like to have that in North. People go crazy in the coastal region about the seafood and stuff like that, but if you go to the northern part of India, which is Punjab and Kashmir and stuff like that, fish is not one of the most popular item on the menu, but it's mostly chicken and meat and lamb. Very sparsely we use pork in our menus, and that too again because if you see throughout the history of India, it had been dominated by different rulers, and each and every ruler which came to India, they left a mark of their cuisine on their Indian cuisine. So now it's an evolved cuisine of little bit of everything. Okay, so half things I'm going to start, and then Hemant is going to finish over there so that I can keep on proceeding with the other items over there. So as I said, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do a fish Amritsari. So we've got a nice cod fillet out here. So Hemant is going to cut that in finger style, okay, fingers and pieces, and I'm going to make a batter for the fish. So fish Amritsari, it's like a very popular starter in India, and if you go to a lot of restaurants down in Canada,
that was a name to remember. Anyway, just to put it out there.
So while we were trying to figure out how to fix my mic, Hemant had this fish fingers ready for me, so that's the fish finger. So I've got different spices on there, and as and when I proceed in the class, I'm also going to give you a little bit of know-how about how the spices work in tandem with each other, and how and where and when not to use the spices. Okay. So I have here fish, so I'm going to add a little bit of turmeric powder to it, very little. You should be very careful when you're using this spice. It has got a very pungent flavor. If it's like, if you follow the recipe, it's good, but if you put too much on that, that's the only thing you're going to have on your taste bud is the turmeric. It dominates all the other spices. But it has got a lot of medicinal values, and in Ayurveda, in ancient Indian medicine and all, this was one of the most prominent spices that was used, also for its healing power and also for its flavor profile. So I added a little bit of turmeric powder there. I have a little bit of red chili powder there. I'm going to add a little bit of salt to it. And I'm going to add a little bit of lemon juice up here. You can do this step, I mean, it's better to do it ahead of time. You can marinate the fish for at least like 35 or 45 minutes before the preparation. But I advise to add the salt at the last moment, because the moment you add salt to your protein, it starts releasing out all the juices. So all the flavors are gone, and even the spices that you have on the fish, it's not going to cook the fish, because the juices, they wash away all the spices on there. So you can do the marination ahead of time, but make sure that you add the salt at the end. So till this, I'm going to add a little. So I have a little bit of little ginger, little of garlic in there, and then we're going to rest it for a while. Say like, I mean, ideally the resting period is around like 25 to 30 minutes, that's great. While we are resting, we're going to start preparing our batter. So for the batter, I have some gram flour over here. So gram, is everyone aware what a gram is? So it's similar to chickpeas, but it's a little bit smaller in size. Okay, so it's like either comes in a black, the skin is either black, or at times it's also brown. Okay, but we don't use a lot of chickpeas powder, except where the recipe asks for. The more popular flour that we use for the pakoras, for the fish Amritsaris and stuff like that, is the gram flour. So that's what we have. We have the gram flour here. So I add a piece of egg to it. So that's the whole egg that's on the recipe. Again, salt, very important. I got a little bit of ajwain seed. So ajwain seed is, it looks similar to a cumin seed, but it's a little bit smaller in size to a cumin seed. And the English term for that one is called bishop seed. So when doing a fish Amritsari, very important, it takes a difference from a fish pakora to a fish Amritsari is the addition of the ajwain seed. Okay, so if you go to an Indian store, it's a very common.
Where can you get it?
You can get it on the Indian store. I mean, which part of city do you live in?
Downtown.
Okay, so Iqbal would be great, right?
Now, any Indian store?
And India, Gerrard Street. I mean, if you're staying in Toronto, Gerrard, there are a lot of Indian stores out there, and it's also called Little India. So you will get almost everything that is on those recipes. You will get it in Gerrard.
And good for digestion too. You heat up some water, and you also known as carom seed. So you toast it, add a little hot water, and you drink it in the morning. It's very good for you. So it kind of digestive works, cleans up early morning, and really is very, very helpful.
Okay, so here I had the gram flour. I added some ajwain seeds to that. I added a little bit of seasoning to it, and then I'm gonna make a batter. So when trying to add water, just add it like a small amount at a time. Like if you make it too runny, then it's what's gonna happen is like you have to keep on adding more and more chickpeas. And the other thing you have to do is like if by mistake you have like you already added the salt to your fish. Now you have got moisture from that one. You can also use this moisture to make the batter, so you are not losing any flavors in the bowl back. Okay, so that's why I mean keep on gradually adding the water, so you don't have a very thin paste out there.
Just want to add for what chef said here. You want to check your oil. I don't know how you do it at home. You want to check your oil. You put a piece of onion or a little bit of water. And after cooking for 25 years, you can also put your finger in to see. And get used to it. So, not the best thing to do, but.
Okay, so the batter is good enough for me here. I'm gonna. So if you look at the consistency of the batter, it has got like a nice thick consistency which coats the back of your spoon, and also it's not falling like a free drizzle out there. It has got like a nice and chunky, and it's falling in drops, right? So that's the consistency of the batter that you want to have. So when you put in that, it completely coats the fish. Or else, I mean, this is not a, you don't have all-purpose flour in there, which has like the flour, all-purpose flour. It has gluten in that, so it has that property in that which helps the moisture cleave to the protein. But this one is the chickpeas flour, so there's no gluten in this one. So if your batter is too thin, if you drop it into the oil, it's gonna just dissolve in the oil, or it's gonna just go everywhere in the oil, right? So we have marinated our fish, the batter is ready. So Chef Hemant is gonna drop it in the oil, and he's gonna start prepping our fish Amritsari, which is the first item on our menu. Any questions on this one? Yes, sir.
What was the other name you said the seeds have?
Caron.
Did you say caraway?
No, it is Caron.
Caron.
C-A-R-O-N. That's another name. Bishop is another term. So.
So while chef is dropping the fish, and then again, I mean, when you're dropping, try to not drop them in lumps. Try to drop in like nice individual portion. Like as you tried the appetizers that we served in the beginning of the class, you see each and every one was like nice finger style served, and that is what you should be looking when you're doing a fish Amritsari. Okay, and a very classic accompaniment to that is the mint sauce. You might have, you might had it when you are eating your fish Amritsari. So for the mint sauce, it's a mixture of cilantro or chopped coriander. I mean, cilantro is a term that which very, very commonly used in North America, but when we are working in Dubai and all, it's coriander. Yeah, so but I mean, it's like very common, like over there, it's very common to use the term coriander, but over here, not many people know what's a coriander. They look they're looking for the coriander seeds, right? And the other very interesting thing is the bell peppers. Like I know when I was working in Dubai and or in India, we like follow the British English, so it's capsicum. Right? It's capsicum, that's what it is commonly called. But here it's more commonly known as bell pepper, right? But it's the same thing. So cilantro, coriander, green coriander is the same thing. So I got a little bit of cilantro in here as per the recipe. I got some mint leaves over here. So when you're taking making the cilantro and mint chutney, if you want to use the stalks of cilantro, that's fine, but not the very end part, which are really woody, which has got very strong flavor of cilantro. But if you're using the stalk parts of the cilantro, that's fine because they are very tender. But if you are trying to use the stalks of the mint, which is not good because first of all, it's going to discolor your sauce. And the second thing is like there might be some chunks remaining when you make the sauce, and when you have that in your mouth, it's not a pleasant feeling, right? So please do not use the stalks of mint, but if you want to use the stalks of cilantro, that's perfect. Okay? Then I got some sliced red onions over here. And that's another common thing in Indian cooking is we use a lot of red onions. We don't use too much of white onion. Okay, because red onion has got, it's a little bit sharp in flavor, and it has got a little bit much more flavor than the white onions. White onions, even in the kitchen, we would use mainly for the stocks and soups and stuff like that. But if we are finishing things, we would either go for the red onions or shallots, which have got more flavor in them. Now I'm going to add some lemon juice to it. Salt. I'm gonna add some yogurt to it. So yogurt is, again, I mean, it's like the yogurt that I use. It's Greek yogurt. because it has got like nice amount of fat in that, and it's not too runny because I don't want my sauce to be too runny. Just gonna add a little bit of water to it, but I mean the most of the juices would be coming from the cilantro leaves and the mint leaves. So that's why whenever I use the yogurt, I try to use a nice fatty Greek yogurt to my recipe. Got some plain water here. That sugar in the recipe, that's optional. Okay, it's only when you are like, I mean, sometimes the red onions are really like spicy, and then if you are feeling that much spice in that, then you can tone it down with a little bit of sugar. But if you like want to stay away with the sugar, that's perfectly fine. So when you're looking into the mint sauce, this is the consistency that you should be looking for. It should not be like too thin, or it should not be too thick as well, because all the ingredients that are using in the sauce, they are very strong in the taste profile, like the cilantro, the mint, and the onion. So if you have like too much of strong flavors in the mint, and on top of that the sauce is thick enough, now it's going to do a very heavy coating on your fish. The fish that we're using here, it's not a salmon and stuff like that, it's a cod, or you can use basa to replace the cod. So these are very lightly flavored fish, right? So whenever you're doing the food, you have to look at the end product, right? Everything that you start from the beginning, when you come to the end, everything should be complementing each other and not the dominating each other. So when you're making the soup, chutney over here, the mint chutney, it should be really nice and thin. You can see. And then once you are done with this one, you can store it for like a minimum of 3 to 4 days. But when you are trying to store it in the chiller, try to not put in a container like this one, and not the aluminum container. Try to put in a stainless steel container which are not transparent, so that it's gonna prevent the light from entering the sauce, or else after 2 days we'll see the chutney has gone all black because the exposure of the light to the chlorophyll, right? And then once you have a nice texture on the chutney, again do not overwork your chutney, because the more you're gonna work the chutney in the blender, the temperature of the blender rises, and again due to that photosynthesis, like you have the chlorophyll in the green vegetables, and if you expose it to the heat, it's gonna change color on your chutney. So the chutney should be nice and eye appealing. Can you see that? Yeah. So you see it's nice and green in color, and this is the
really nice for canada parties at home. If you're doing it at home, really nice. You could use this batter for vegetables. You can take some zucchini, some asparagus in the summer. You can have it in the chickpea batter and fry it. The same thing, finish with lemon juice. It really comes out nice. And this chutney, we grew up on this, right? Early morning sandwich at home to go to school. We wouldn't get a jam sandwich. We would have a vegetable sandwich with this green chutney spicy. Early morning, that was a breakfast. So if I finish it.
So this is your first recipe, and this entire recipe to make, I had like a little bit of head start over there, but I mean to make this entire recipe should not take you more than 25 to 30 minutes, right? And if you've got guests coming and you're really putting out a spread out, so please do not make it too much ahead of time. You can do it half fried, right? Do it half fried, leave it on the side, and then you can finish it, but it always has to be served warm, because it doesn't have flour in there, so it's after a while it's gonna go soggy. Okay? So that's your first recipe out there.